Welcome back to Afro-Korean Chronicles. Welcome back to the love story of Kemi Adeyemi and Jo Won. Will this love suffice? Well, let's see in this chapter. Grab your popcorn. Love or power? We'll know which one wins.
Kimmy felt like she'd been punched in the stomach. And Junwoo? Ignored her completely, Junwoo said firmly, his hand tightening on Kimmy's waist. I was polite because our families work together, but that's all. I made it crystal clear that I wasn't interested, that I was waiting for you. But Kemi saw the flicker in Mirei's eyes, saw the way the girl watched Junwoo like a predator watching prey. This was a girl who didn't just want Junwoo. She believed she deserved him. And girls like that didn't just give up. They got revenge. That evening, there was a welcome back party at Taeyoon family estate, because apparently estate was the only kind of home these people knew. Not houses, not apartments, estates. This one had its own helipad. Kemi wore a dress she'd bought in Lagos, a stunning combination of vibrant African print mixed with modern Korean design. Her dressmaker back home had created something unique, traditional Ankara fabric in rich golds and blues, cut in a sleek modern silhouette that hugged her curves. Gold jewelry that had belonged to her grandmother, real gold, not the costume stuff, heavy and precious and carrying 3 generations of history. Her braids were styled in an elaborate updo that had taken her roommate Chinyere 3 hours to perfect, woven with golden thread that caught the light. She looked like herself, proudly, defiantly Nigerian, but also elegant, sophisticated, refusing to hide or diminish herself to fit someone else's narrow vision of acceptability. When Junwoo picked her up from her dorm, he literally stopped breathing, just stopped, stood there in her doorway, mouth slightly open, eyes wide, looking at her like she'd personally hung the stars. "You're gonna kill me," he finally managed. "Good," she teased, spinning once to let him see the full effect. "Keep you humble." But there was something in his eyes, something sad underneath the desire. "What?" she asked. "You're so beautiful, it actually hurts to look at you, and I spent a whole year not being able to look at you, not being able to touch you, not being able to just be with you. And now you're here, and you're real, and I'm terrified." "Of what?" "Of losing you again, of not being strong enough to keep you this time." She crossed to him, took his face in her hands, made him look at her. "Then we be strong together." He kissed her like she was air and he'd been suffocating. The party was extravagant. Ice sculptures of swans that were already melting in the soul heat, a live orchestra playing covers of American pop songs, a champagne fountain that probably cost more than Kemi's entire education, Korea's wealthiest teenagers celebrating like they were royalty, because in this world, they basically were. Junwoo kept her close all night. His hand never left her, on her waist, her back, her hand, her shoulder, constant contact, like he was afraid she'd disappear if he stopped touching her. He introduced her to everyone, business associates' children, distant cousins, family friends, politicians' kids. And every single time he used the same phrase, "This is Kemi Adeyemi, my girlfriend." He said it with pride, with certainty, with a clear message that everyone in that room understood. She's mine. Get used to it. But Kemi noticed the looks, the barely concealed disgust from the older generation, the curiosity from their peers, the judgment, the whispers. They were dancing, his arms around her waist, her head on his chest, swaying to some slow song she didn't recognize, when Mirei appeared like a designer-dressed ghost. "Junwoo, can we talk privately?" "No," he said simply, not even looking at her. Mirei's perfectly made-up eyes flashed with something dark, dangerous. "It's about our father's merger, the pharmaceutical deal, the new research facility in Sejong City. It's important." He sighed, the kind of sigh that said he'd been having this exact conversation for months and was exhausted by it. Fine, 2 minutes. He kissed Kemi's forehead, a gesture that felt more like apology than affection. I'll be right back, I promise. Kemi watched him walk away with Mireille, trying to ignore the jealousy clawing at her throat like a living thing. Min-jae appeared beside her like a guardian angel in a Tom Ford suit. Don't worry, he's obsessed with you. It's actually disgusting how much he talks about you. She laughed despite herself. Really? Really? This summer, we barely saw him. He'd work in his father's company from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., learning every department, sitting in board meetings, being groomed for succession. Then he'd go to the gym and work out until he nearly collapsed. I think he was trying to literally exhaust himself so he wouldn't think about you. Then he'd video call you for hours. The rest of us basically didn't exist. He never told me about the company stuff, Kemi said quietly. Because he didn't want you to worry, didn't want you to feel guilty. Min-jae's expression turned serious. But Kemi, it was brutal. His father put him through hell, made him prove himself at every turn, questioned every decision, made sure everyone knew he was being punished for inappropriate behavior. It was psychological warfare. That made her feel worse, not better. 15 minutes passed, then 30. Then 45. Junwoo still hadn't come back. Kemi went looking for them, found them on a private balcony overlooking the Han River, because of course there was a private balcony with $1 million view. Mireille was standing too close, way too close, her hand on Junwoo's arm, speaking in perfect Korean that Kemi's year of intensive study still couldn't fully follow. But she caught fragments. About our families planning this for years. The merger is worth 10 trillion won. She's not one of us, Junwoo. You know this can't last. Your father will cut you off completely if you continue this inappropriate relationship. Think about your future, about the company. Junwoo's voice was ice. I don't care about the merger. You will when your father strips everything from you. Mireille's voice rose, losing some of her careful sweetness. Your trust fund, your inheritance, your position in the company, your future, all for some girl who... Finish that sentence and we're done talking. Mireille changed tactics immediately, softened, moved even closer, touched his face with practiced, intimate familiarity. Kemi's heart stopped. I'm trying to protect you, Junwoo. I've known you since we were children. I understand your world, your pressures, your responsibilities. I can give you everything you need. A partner who understands the business, a wife your family will accept, children who will inherit both empires, stability, security, acceptance. She was painting a picture, a life, a future, everything Kemi couldn't offer. I don't need any of that, Junwoo said, but his voice was tired, so tired. You think you don't, but you will when reality sets in, when you're struggling, when you realize that love doesn't pay bills or build empires or create legacies. Kemi was about to walk away. Pride wouldn't let her watch this, when Junwoo removed Mireille's hand from his face like it was contaminated. You can't give me what I need, he said clearly, because what I need is her. He turned and saw Kemi standing there, his face flooded with relief so pure it almost hurt to see. He walked straight to her, took her hand, intertwined their fingers. Let's go home. As they walked past Mireille, she called out in perfect English, This isn't over, Junwoo. Your father will make sure of it. In the car ride back, Kemi was quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that screams louder than words. Talk to me, Junwoo said, glancing at her as he navigated the late-night Seoul traffic. Is she right? Kemi asked, staring out the window at the glittering city lights. Will your father really cut you off? He didn't answer immediately. That hesitation told her everything. Yes. Her stomach dropped like she was in free fall. Junwoo. He's threatened it 374 times this year. I told you that. But 3 weeks ago, he made it official. His voice was flat, dead. He had the family lawyers draw up papers, showed them to me, had me read them, document after document, outlining exactly what I'd lose if I continued this inappropriate relationship. "What would you lose?" Kemi whispered, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know. "Everything. My trust fund, 50 billion won. My shares in Park Industries, 200 billion won. My apartment, my cars, my credit cards, my name. He said he'd legally disown me, that I'd be nothing." Kemi couldn't breathe. The numbers were incomprehensible. The stakes were impossible. "Then maybe we should—" "Don't." His voice cracked like a whip. "Don't you dare finish that sentence. I can't let you lose everything because of me." He pulled the car over violently, tires screeching. They were on some random side street, the Han River visible in the distance, the city pulsing with life, right around them. He turned to face her, and his eyes were blazing. "You are my everything. Money—"
The company? That's just stuff. Paper, numbers in a bank account. You're real. You make me feel. You make me better. You're the only thing that's ever made me feel alive instead of just existing." He cupped her face in his hands, thumbs wiping away tears. She didn't even know she was crying. "I'd choose you 1,000 times over, 1,000,000. I'd choose you every single day for the rest of my life and never regret it for a second." She kissed him desperately. "I love you. I love you more." But even as they said it, even as they held each other in that car like they were the last two people on earth, both of them knew love wasn't going to be enough this time. School started the next week. Camille was officially a second-year student now, more confident than she'd been as a terrified freshman, more settled. She'd already joined the debate team, was now team captain. She'd made real friends beyond just Chinyere. She'd even started an African culture club that had shocking interest from Korean students curious about the continent beyond the stereotypes and misrepresentations. Things seemed almost normal until the assembly. The headmaster called an emergency all-school meeting on a Wednesday morning. No warning, no explanation, just all students required to attend, no exceptions. Camille sat with Chinyere and Minjae in the massive auditorium. Junwoo sat a few rows ahead with the rest of F4. They'd been separated by homeroom assignments. "What's this about?" Chinyere whispered nervously. "No idea," Camille said, but dread was already pooling in her stomach like acid. The headmaster took the stage. He was sweating, actually sweating. His hands shook slightly as he gripped the podium. "Students, we have exciting news." It didn't sound exciting. It sounded like someone had a gun to his back. Park Industries has made an unprecedented 50 billion won donation to our school. The auditorium erupted. Students gasped, whispered, calculated what 50 billion won could buy. New buildings, new equipment, new everything. Minjae grabbed Camille's hand. "This is bad. This is very bad." Park Industries has been a valued partner of Hansong Elite Academy for many years, but this donation represents the largest single contribution in our school's 100-year history. In honor of this extraordinary generosity, we're pleased to announce new scholarship programs, state-of-the-art science facilities, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a performing arts center, and Camille couldn't hear the rest over the roaring in her ears. 50 billion won. That wasn't a donation. That was a purchase. Junwoo had turned around in his seat, looking confused, genuinely confused. He clearly had no idea this was happening, which meant his father had planned this behind his back. "And," the headmaster continued, voice shaking now, "we're deeply honored to have with us today the chairman of Park Industries himself, Park Jae-won, who will say a few words about his vision for education and excellence." Camille's blood turned to ice.
Park Jun-woo's father walked on that stage like he owned it, because he did. He was tall, at least 6'2", same as his son, distinguished, powerful, wearing a suit that probably cost more than a car. He looked exactly like an older version of Jun-woo, same sharp jawline, same intense dark eyes, same commanding presence. But where Jun-woo's eyes held warmth and humor and life, his father's eyes held only calculated precision, cold intelligence, ruthless ambition. This was a man who built a 2 trillion won empire from scratch, a man who had crushed competitors, a man who had never lost. And he was looking at his son's African girlfriend like she was a problem that needed to be eliminated. "Thank you," he began in Korean, his voice smooth as poisoned honey. "Education is the foundation of our future, which is why I'm deeply committed to ensuring that Hansung Academy maintains its excellence and prestige." His eyes scanned the audience, landed on Camille, stayed there. "However," he continued, still looking directly at her, "with this donation comes certain expectations, standards we must uphold, traditions we must honor, integrity we must protect." The room shifted uncomfortably. Every single person in that auditorium knew who he was talking about. "We cannot allow distractions or inappropriate relationships to compromise the integrity of this institution. We cannot let unsuitable influences undermine everything we've built." Students started glancing at Camille, some with pity, some with disgust, some with morbid curiosity. Camille felt like she was drowning in air. Jun-woo stood up. "Dad, what are you doing?" "Sit down, Jun-woo." "No, if you have something to say it directly instead of hiding behind—" "Very well." Park Jae-won's expression didn't change. "I'm announcing that effective immediately, there will be stricter guidelines on student conduct and relationships, particularly those that may bring unwanted attention or controversy." He paused, let it sink in. "Any student who violates these new standards will face immediate disciplinary action, up to and including expulsion." The auditorium erupted, students talking over each other, teachers looking uncomfortable, the headmaster looking like he wanted to disappear, and Park Jae-won just standing there, calm and collected, having just announced that Camille Arayami was a problem that needed to be solved. The message was crystal clear. "I just bought this school for 50 billion won, and I bought it to make one point. I win." After the assembly, chaos. Students mobbed the hallways. Whispers turned to shouts. Phones came out. Texts, calls, social media posts. Within 10 minutes, #ParkScandalContinues was trending on Korean Twitter. Camille walked quickly toward the exit, vision blurring with tears she refused to shed in public. "Camille, wait!" Jun-woo caught up to her, grabbed her arm. "I didn't know he was coming. I swear to God I didn't know. I would have warned you. I would have stopped this. He basically just announced to the entire school that I'm a problem, that I'm inappropriate, that I'm bringing unwanted attention. He might as well have painted a target on my back. He's trying to intimidate you, intimidate us. It's a power play." "It's working," she shouted, and several students turned to stare. She lowered her voice. "It's working, Jun-woo, because he just demonstrated that he has unlimited power, that he can buy entire institutions just to make a point." Jun-woo pulled her into an empty classroom, locked the door, pulled down the shade. "Listen to me." His hands gripped her shoulders. "He's powerful, but he doesn't control us. He doesn't control what we feel, what we choose. He controls everything." Tears were streaming down her face now. "Your life, your future, this school. He literally just bought it. How do we fight someone who can buy anything?" "By refusing to be bought, by refusing to let him win. This isn't a game. This is our lives. Then let's live them together. Stop letting him make us afraid." She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly. But belief didn't change reality. And reality was, Park Jae-won had just declared war, and Camille was the battlefield. Over the next few weeks, Camille watched her life at Hansung Elite Academy systematically dismantled. It started small. Students who'd been friendly became distant, not openly hostile, that would have been too obvious, just unavailable, busy. Sorry, I can't talk right now. Teachers looked at her with concern, the kind that really meant, you're causing problems and I wish you'd just leave. Someone started a petition to maintain academic standards, which was obviously code for getting rid of scholarship students. It got 847 signatures in 3 days. Kang Mi-rae led the charge. She was smart about it, never mentioned Camille named by name, just posted carefully worded Instagram stories about protecting school culture and maintaining the integrity of Hansung's prestigious reputation and concerns about inappropriate influence. The comments were vicious. She doesn't belong here. She's only here because she's using Park Jun-woo. Scholarship students are lowering our standards. Why doesn't she just go back to where she came from? Korean men should date Korean women, period. This is embarrassing for our country. Chin-yurae showed Camille the posts, face tight with rage. We need to report this. This is harassment. This is racism. To who? Camille asked bitterly. The headmaster who just accepted 50 billion won from Junwoo's father? The teachers who are terrified of losing their jobs? The administration that's made it clear they want me gone? She was right. Park Jae-won had been strategic, brilliant even, in his cruelty. He hadn't directly attacked Camille, hadn't mentioned her name, hadn't made explicit threats. He'd just created an environment where everyone else did it for him. Then came the meeting that changed everything. Camille was called to the headmaster's office during 4th period. No explanation, just report to administration immediately. She knew before she even got there, knew who would be waiting, and she was right. Park Jae-won sat in the headmaster's office like he owned it,
Which, for 50 billion won, he basically did. The headmaster wasn't even there, just Park Jae-won, alone, waiting, like a spider in a web. "Sit down, Miss Adeyemi," he said in perfect English. She sat, spine straight, head high, refusing to show fear even though her heart was hammering. He studied her for a long moment, like she was a business problem to solve, an equation to balance, a variable to eliminate. "You're a bright young woman, top of your class, impressive accomplishments. Under different circumstances, I would admire your ambition, your intelligence, your tenacity. But," Kimmy's voice was steady despite her hand shaking in her lap, "but you're a distraction to my son, and distractions are expensive." "I'm not a distraction. I'm a person who cares about him, who loves him, who makes him happy." "Caring isn't enough in our world," Park Jae-won said. "You need resources, connections, power, things you don't have, things you'll never have." "Things money can't buy either," Kimmy shot back, "like actually making your son happy, like giving him a reason to smile, like making him feel like his life is worth living." His eyes flashed, just for a second, a crack in the mask. "Happiness is a luxury he can afford once he's secured his future. Right now, he needs to focus on the company, on building alliances, on suitable relationships that will benefit his position." "Suitable?" Kimmy let the word hang there. "You mean someone rich, someone Korean, someone like Kang Mi-rae?" "Mi-rae is an excellent match. Her family's business complements ours perfectly. She understands our world, our responsibilities, our obligations. She can give my son everything he needs to succeed. Except love, except happiness, except a reason to succeed." Park Jae-won leaned forward. His voice dropped to something almost gentle, almost kind, which was the most dangerous tone of all. Here's what's going to happen, Miss Adeyemi. You're going to end this relationship today, cleanly. You'll tell my son you don't want this anymore, that you realized you made a mistake, that you're choosing your own future over this infatuation. No, I'm offering you money, a lot of money. He slid an envelope across the desk. Inside is a contract, full scholarship to any university in the world, Harvard, Oxford, Stanford, Cambridge, wherever you want, 100 million won annual stipend for living expenses, guaranteed internships at top firms, letters of recommendation from the most influential people in Korea, everything you need to build a successful future. He paused. Let it sink in. All you have to do is sign this contract, leave Korea, and never contact my son again. Kimmy stared at the envelope. 100 million won. She couldn't even calculate it. That was more money than her entire extended family would earn in multiple lifetimes. That was enough to pay for her brother's education, her mother's medical care, her father's retirement, her grandmother's comfort, her entire family's future. All she had to do was walk away from Junwoo. Was she going to walk away? Will you walk away if you're the one? Will this love still suffice? Well, we're going to see in the next episode. Have sweet night, besties. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel to get notified on the next episode.